In the first vignette, we will explore how Ironclad users can leverage OneTrust to automate contracts for existing vendors. I'm a sales leader looking to book services from Aloha companies, our preferred outsourced sales enablement vendor for our company kickoff. Previously, I would have to manually go through the email to find approvals for the vendor or even make a business case internally. Now I can use the standard Ironclad vendor contract workflow that automatically connects with our approved vendors in OneTrust to speed up this process significantly and ensure compliance. I can just simply search for our approved vendors to start the contracting process in a system that we can all work out of with our respective roles. The vendor details are filled in for me to save me time and reduce duplicate work. The vendor already sent us their contract to review, but before this is sent to legal, we need to go through OneTrust vetting first. Since we've already worked with Aloha companies before and we're scheduling them for another training, we need to procure additional services. This data I'm entering in now will flow downstream into OneTrust for the procurement team once I submit the contract request. Immediately, this contract request is routed to the right teams for approval. Because of Ironclad's seamless integration with OneTrust, I'm notified that the vendor is already approved, but before contract negotiations can take place, the procurement team needs to approve the engagement within OneTrust. Jumping into OneTrust, the procurement manager and IT team sees a new engagement request was created automatically through the Ironclad integration. The procurement manager approves the additional spend by moving the engagement to live. This allows procurement teams to keep the audit trail that manages risk and tracks financial transactions. Getting back into Ironclad, notice the approval status has changed for the engagement from OneTrust via the integration. The sales leader is happy that the contracting spend is fully approved in OneTrust without having to contact IT or procurement teams via email or Zoom calls. They now have the visibility on the next step in the process, which is a legal review. Before, we would have had little context as to where the contract would lie. For the members of my legal team, they will be able to begin negotiations without having to worry about needing procurement or IT's consent since the approvals are visible right within Ironclad. Key to this negotiation will be vendor rating and criticality, data that is populated automatically from OneTrust. The data will help inform how risky a potential vendor engagement may be and could help drive more or less restrictive language in this contract. Moving forward, the contract seamlessly transitions into the Ironclad workflow, a process that we delve further into in another video. In the second vignette, we will explore how Ironclad users can leverage the OneTrust integration for requesting and onboarding new vendors. I'm a sales leader and we've identified an up-and-coming AI company to assist us in analyzing our sales calls, but they are a relatively small startup. Using an Ironclad vendor contract workflow, I can answer some basic questions to get my contract request fulfilled while ensuring our IT's compliance needs are met via the OneTrust integration. I'll start by searching for this vendor to see if anyone else has worked with them. The data here pulls directly from OneTrust automatically, so I can stay within Ironclad. Since we haven't worked with this vendor before, I can submit the contract request, but we'll also need to submit a new vendor for approval. This vendor has already provided us with their contract for review, so we will upload it along with our submission. To save the procurement and IT team time from having to jump on the phone with me to understand what is in this contract, I can provide some details around what we're hoping to procure in this form to save them some time in review. I already know who the signers will be, so Ironclad allows me to select them from a drop-down. Now that I have submitted my request, we have a new vendor approval process that kicks off in OneTrust, and I have a real-time visibility of it without having to email IT. Now, as the IT and procurement review commences, we are better protected from risk by having an audit of the review. Our IT team find that there are two major vulnerabilities in the vendor's last penetration test, and will log these for our records. Legal want to know this so we can include language to better protect us if we choose to procure. We can save time in the future by avoiding these types of vendors and stick with the approved vendor list to save time. Our team has reviewed this vendor in OneTrust and went ahead and added some details determining the risk of the vendor. IT is confident in their responses on how to remediate their penetration test vulnerabilities, and thus we will track that for our risk management and approve this vendor per our policy. This will automatically push back to Ironclad. Now back in Ironclad, our sales leader, legal team, and signers involved in the contracting process can see the approved vendor details, which include risk, to best determine how to handle negotiations as we go through the purchase of our AI solution. From here, the contract seamlessly transitions into the Ironclad workflow, a process that we delve into further in another video.